And 15 is the number of total cases, COVID-19 cases confirmed. Those who've recovered are 2,122,417. And the total deaths stand at 336,862. Let's now take a look at the situation in Africa, and the total number of infections stand at 104,758. The number of deaths stand at 3,141. The number of those who've recovered stands at 41,387. As for the U.S., the number of total infections there stands at 1,631,438. The number who recovered stands at 385,070. And the number of deaths stands at 96,988. There you have it, the global perspective and the local perspective as far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. Let's now take a look at what else we have lined up for you on NTV Weekend Edition. Tonight, Jubilee party wars play out on the floor of the Senate as Kithure Kindiki gets kicked out as Deputy Speaker.
Victory over darkness comes to the victors in installments, but punishment for perpetuating the works of darkness is meted out on the conspirators in one lump sum.
It was choreographed and planned.
So the ayes have it.
Even some of the rebels voted in line with the party position. Also tonight, frontline workers have been fighting the pandemic while exposed to great risk, danger funded by the taxpayer.
The PPEs that we are making locally are superior to the PPEs that we were importing before. It is just thanks to God that our doctors have not been falling sick.
Kenya and Tanzania reach agreement to diffuse border tensions. The trucks are getting back on track. Plus, the agony of HIV-positive patients who are going without a key drug as there is a shortage.
Me sometimes kulia nasema guy, 2020 nizaisha kasi iko.
Niko HIV positive, niko asthmatic. Sasa hizo vitu zote ziko kwa mwili moja. Sasa corona ikiingia je?
Government withholds response on the matter. And on Bullseye,
these dogs,
when the dogs of political war are coming for you.
I can assure you it's coming to the National Assembly. It's a matter of time.
The art of political reinvention.
Buckling and overwhelmingly.
And we take a walk with George Natembea.
Msichana akipata mimba saa hizi kwa area yako, mimi nitajua hiyo mimba ni yako.
This is Weekend Edition with Olive Burrows.
Whether you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or from home using your TV, welcome to the broadcast. Joining me this evening is David Agondoa as our sign language interpreter. The Senate has, by majority, voted to remove Professor Kithure Kindiki as the Deputy Speaker. 54 senators supported the special motion originated by his sponsoring party, Jubilee, while 7 were against his ouster. The vote ended more than 4 hours of heated exchange that threatened even the authority of the Speaker, as Ken Mijungu explains.
So the ayes have 54, the nays have 7, abstentions 0, so the ayes have it.
And with that, the Professor of International Law ended his stint as the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, a position he has been holding since his election in September of 2017, thanks to the Jubilee Party's majority in the Senate.
They will have succeeded in pulling me down into their dirty underground moral dungeon from where they cook their hopeless schemes. I am reminded of the wisdom of Martin Luther King Jr., never to succumb to the temptation of bitterness. And therefore, as a sign of strength, I forgive them without conditions.
This unanimous vote was occasioned by a special motion brought to the House by the Senate's Majority Whip, Irungu Kang'ata himself, a beneficiary of party machinations that saw the Majority Leader also sent to the back benches of the Senate. His crime? Showing contempt to the party leader and lack of party allegiance.
We sent a notice as Jubilee Party to various senators who belong to our coalition
and Professor did not attend that meeting. After failing to attend that meeting, there was no apology that was rendered to our party. We serve in these positions, having been given this position by parties, and therefore, when parties lose confidence in you, they have every right to withdraw that support.
Before the end, the means was justified. Very acrimonious. Senators allied to the deposed Deputy Speaker put on a spirited fight, demanding the professor be afforded an opportunity to vindicate himself, or at least the country be made aware of his crimes.
Was the Deputy Speaker served with the charges for his removal? Was he also, Mr. Speaker, notified? No, Mr. Speaker, was he notified? Because it's in your communication. Was he notified of this sitting?
Senator Professor Kindiki Kithure is not under trial. This is simply a motion for removal.
Whether we are 2 or 5 or 10, we shall continue to fight on, and we shall not allow the dictatorship that this country is quickly just becoming a dictatorship.
But his die was cast as the Senate went on trial.
Professor Kindiki, you have served us for the duration that you have done. You have served us well. Your party has lost confidence in you. That is a point at which we say that the center cannot hold and things fall apart.
Mr. Speaker, it's so disappointing that people, even I chair the legal, courtesy of the majority side. But that one is not a privilege, it is a right. Why do we make it that members who sit in leadership position appear that it's the privilege and prerogative of the party? It is not.
We are warning ourselves, me included, that the seat I occupy as minority whip, that seat belongs to the coalition. And I must, in all cases, in the trust bestowed upon me by that coalition, continue advocating for the obligations, rights, and wishes of that coalition.
Kindiki now becomes the third senior Jubilee Party member in the upper house to be removed in less than 2 weeks after the acrimonious Senate Parliamentary Group meeting that took place at State House on the 11th of May. The Senate is, however, required to garner more than 2/3 of the membership, in this case 45, before the motion is adopted. Jubilee Party, which has a majority of 39 members in the House, only needed 6 more. Some of those members who have been behind Kindiki voted against him in the dying minutes of his reign. This is the first time a deputy speaker is removed in this manner in the country. Jubilee Party will now go back to the drawing board to pick a suitable, loyal member to replace Kindiki, who was hailed as an excellent leader who made impactful rulings while on the throne. The position is, however, open for contest from any party or individual in the House. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
And what is a boost for the President Kenyatta wing of the Jubilee Party? The National Executive Council of the Wiper Democratic Movement Kenya has authorized its party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, to seal a cooperation agreement with Jubilee and KANU. The resolution was reached during a virtual meeting, which the party says had more than 50 NEC members, which unanimously backed immediate implementation of the cooperation agreement. Now to the COVID-19 situation in the country, and Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has admitted that Kenya has been importing substandard personal protective equipment, exposing hundreds of health workers in the country. The Health Cabinet Secretary is now confident that Kenya can now rely on homegrown solutions to help protect the frontline responders moving forward.
At a time the world tries to best arm itself against an enemy that has claimed over 330,000 lives, Kenya is getting reinforcements after finding out that the frontliners had been gravely exposed.
I also tried to get the ones we had imported tested by KEBS, and they failed. So the PPEs that we are making locally are superior to the PPEs that we were importing before. It is just thanks to God that our doctors have not been falling sick. Some of these imported PPEs have been really below standards.
The national government has further promised to help county governments employ 5,000 county health workers to boost their efforts.
If you see somebody in your area who has been to Mombasa lately, Nairobi, and other places, you should raise the alarm. I am not saying that you start lynching anybody or beating them up. No. But just raise the alarm.
As various solutions are being discovered in the country, Madagascar has been persuading African countries to adopt its COVID-19 organic drug, which it claims cures the virus. But CA's Kagwe isn't quite swallowing that pill.
So, no, we are not using anything that is not approved by the Kenya government, and we do not want to experiment with our people. The last thing I am going to do in this country is to allow anybody with any form of concussion to come and profess that these things are working before they are tested by our people, before they have done through thorough tests in our laboratories, so that we agree that this amounts to medicine.
Kagwe, accompanied by top health ministry officials, toured the Machakos COVID-19 mass screening and isolation center and Machakos Level 5 hospital to assess their level of preparedness.
I would like to get more support in PPEs and others, but we've given out tenders. We are getting 10 more ventilators. We are getting more PPEs. We are getting equipment and things to ensure that we are okay. And we've contracted our vocational training colleges to manufacture masks. My plan...
The national government has encouraged other county governments to strengthen its preparedness and response capacity as the community transmission rate increases. In Nairobi County, Kibera constituency is emerging as an area of particular concern, with possible stronger measures put in place.
There's an additional 8 cases today in Kibera, and that is something worrying considering the population that is in Kibera.
Vincent Odur, NTV.
You keep hearing about this invisible enemy that is COVID-19 and you get scared. You then hear that it is dealing a greater blow on people with pre-existing conditions. This shakes you even further because you have one, and more to that, you are HIV positive. Further, you hear that where you live is a growing coronavirus hotspot. The agony that greets and dwells in your mind is aggravated by the fact that the medicine you are to take alongside your antiretroviral drugs is in short supply. This is a reality for some people, and Charity Mwangi visited them in Kibera and brings us their story.
The mask she dons covers her joyful demeanor and beaming stamina, which in turn mask the battles she has gone through. Zipporah Hamlet Achieng has been HIV positive since birth. She depends on antiretroviral drugs, ARVs, alongside another drug, Septrin, for her survival. However, her rocky path has been getting rougher as there is a shortage of Septrin, which helps in fighting opportunistic diseases.
Hizo lamivudine na zidovudine hizo za chupa haziwezi mezeka bila Septrin. Septrin inafanya mwili yako iweze kuwa sick, like the STIs, OIs, herpes zoster, hizo ugonjwa zote Septrin inajaribu kuprevent.
The now hard-to-find drug was previously availed for free.
Patabo anauziwa 10 bob. Labda unapata hiyo 10 bob mtu ana. Ni hustler. Hata kukula peke yake hana.
She and her mother are living positively and strive to keep their heads up despite their challenging economic situation. They say it is so challenging that they cannot afford the drug.
Tunanunua na ufichi sahi niko na single mother na pia yeye anameza dawa kama mimi na si ati akonele nini kazi stable ni hustler tu.
It is a drug that is highly depended on by persons living with HIV, a drug whose availability or lack thereof means either life or death for this vulnerable group, especially during the pandemic.
Life is not easy without it. Me adi sometimes ulia nasema guy, 2020 ati nizaisha kasi iko cause niza kuwa na mezi zingine, but without Septrin nothing, cause nikiangalia sasa niko healthy hivi ni Septrin.
It is a similar story for Margaret Itai. She is preparing porridge that will just have to pass for dinner tonight. She as well fears the coronavirus pandemic that takes a great toll on persons with underlying health conditions.
Mtu kama mimi hivi, siwezi nikatembea huku nje, naokopa. First niko HIV positive, niko asthmatic. Sasa hizo vitu zote ziko kwa mwili moja. Sasa corona ikiingia je, nitapigana na vitu tatu.
Margaret tries her best to find money to purchase the drug, but the taps of her income streams have been closed on account of the pandemic.
Matajiri wamejifungia, wanasema sasa hii tungoje mpaka corona wakati wenye tutafanya nini itaisha ndio tuingie. Na sasa uko na watoto kwa nyumba wanataka wakule.
The residents demand intervention from the government.
Kwa sababu wale watu wanaumia. Ukweli pale tukienda madam utapata wanaumia. Hawana chakula, hawana nini.
Our efforts to get a comment from the Ministry of Health were fruitless, as the question was given a wide berth at the ministry's daily COVID-19 update.
Is there a shortage of septrin drugs for those living with HIV/AIDS?
Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Maybe now Vincent Odoro will get an answer to his question. The standoff along the Kenya-Tanzania border owing to the coronavirus pandemic has been eased after the two neighboring countries agreed on a number of issues that will see traffic across the border resume. NTV's Seth Olale was at Namanga, where there was an interministerial meeting on the Tanzanian side, and crossed back with this report.
A diplomatic standoff led to the standstill. Hundreds of trucks parked on either side of the Kenya-Tanzania one-stop border post. The term grinding to a halt exemplified with the lack of activity at an otherwise busy Namanga border. Initially, the slow flow of traffic was blamed on the slow mandatory screening of truck drivers entering Kenya. The situation worsened after President Uhuru Kenyatta last Saturday announced the closure of the Kenya-Tanzania border, save for trucks ferrying goods whose driver must get a clean bill of health. Tanzanian authorities responded on Tuesday by blocking Kenyan truck drivers entering its territory, claiming a number of them had been infected with coronavirus. Transport CS James Macharia and his Tanzanian counterpart led a crisis resolution meeting and resolved to kick things back to motion. The terms and conditions are that
they did agree that yes, it is fundamental that anybody coming through the borders must be tested, and that was the bottom line. In terms of logistics of doing so, until now we had some few challenges because people, when they are tested, the results were taking longer to come out. And that's why you found long queues of trucks here. I'm glad with the team of Minister of Health, led by the CAS, Dr. Rashid, we have gone through the modalities of how it to be done. And particularly I'm happy that the ministry, through the East African community process, managed to secure two laboratories, mobile laboratories.
Nenda Arusha pale, uliza kuna hospitali gani ambayo inapema, nenda Kilimanjaro, wewe Dar es Salaam, nenda Muhimbili, nenda kapime. Na haya makubaliano tumefanya pamoja na waziri mkuu wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Wakati tunazungumza nilikuwa nawasiliana naye. Kwa hiyo wewe Mtanzania utakuwa na cheti, umepimwa kwamba wewe hauna COVID, ndio unaanza safari. Na ukishapimwa hupimwi tena eneo jingine kule unakokwenda mpaka baada ya siku 14. Nafikiri tumeelewana. Lakini na Kenya vivyo hivyo, watapimwa kule, watakuwa na cheti, certificate ambayo inasema kwamba huyu mtu tayari yuko free na huu ugonjwa hajaupata, na kama alikuwa ameupata pengine amepona.
There was a caveat placed by the Kenyan government.
They get tested elsewhere other than the border. It must be WHO standard. That is fundamental. And the Ministry of Health will follow up those protocols to make sure they truly comply with WHO standards. In particular, what they call the PCR, testing process, to make sure that we don't take any chance whatsoever.
With the ignition switched on through intervention, and the diplomatic standoff disengaged, the truck drivers can now cross the borders and cautiously resume cargo delivery. The implementation of the resolution arrived at by both Kenya and Tanzania is already being effected here at the Namanga one-stop border post. That is why you're seeing traffic flowing easily on either side of the border. What is happening here is expected to be replicated at other border posts, talking about Holili as well as Isebania, Kenya-Tanzania border. Seth Olale, NTV, Namanga, Kajiado County.
Welcome back from your trip abroad, Seth Olale. Now to a subject we canvassed during the Nation Leadership Forum session yesterday on education and the stink of the bad blood between the Kenyan National Union of Teachers Secretary General Wilson Sossion and Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha is rising again. Sossion has discredited the National COVID-19 Education Response Committee, saying it is poorly constituted and that NAT and UWASU will not submit their proposals to it. Sharon Baranga brings us more than just the power plays during the pandemic, but also a look at some of the headaches the government will face when it gets to open school.
22nd May 2020, the deadline set for the 10-member National COVID-19 Education Response Committee to receive submission on views on how the Ministry of Education should navigate the school situation in these pandemic times. But the Kenya National Union of Teachers and the university's Academic Staff Union are not playing ball, at least not on the government's terms. The cold relationship between NAT Secretary General Wilson Sossion and Education CS George Magoha has come to the fore.
We shall not make any submissions to the exclusivist Professor George Magoha appointed team of COVID-19 National Education Response Committee led by Dr. Sarah Ruto, as it is a mere rubber stamp committee. Considering the manner in which it was constituted, it is bound to mislead Kenyans.
NAT and UWASU say they have formed parallel teams to look at the possibility of reopening learning institutions. They already have some proposals that they want implemented.
Open churches first, open markets first, supermarkets, open all the bus and all the programs and all activities in the country, reopen the economy before we think of risking taking our children back to school.
This feeds into the battles among teachers' unions. The Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, obliged and submitted its views to the committee. Further, among other things, it has proposed the partial reopening of schools by 15th June and that college and university students in their final year should be allowed back to classrooms. This is a proposal that is contrary to those of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, in whose submissions to the committee insists that schools should remain closed until the infection rates subside, adding that only at such a time should the government consider a phased reopening of learning institutions, starting with the candidates. This picture points to the tough reality that the future holds. Crowded classrooms in many schools, especially government schools, have increasingly become more common. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
I was on leave not too long ago, and to be honest, it can get difficult, or rather it can get boring if one is not willing to be creative with interesting activities while at home. Let's take a look at how some Kenyans are keeping themselves busy.
Baba. Ane. Corona nyakabi. How do you keep distance. Corona mpaka ishi. We must fight corona.
Well, I salute all of you who are able to keep fit even as you stay at home. Let's take a break.
The risk of illness-causing germs is increasing. It is believed that the coronavirus can remain on surfaces in your home for up to 9 days. Touching infected surfaces is one of the ways in which germs spread. Regularly disinfect your floors, countertops, and kitchen surfaces with bleach. And use an effective toilet cleaner inside and outside your toilet bowl. This message is brought to you by Medifacts, JIG, and Harpic.
Want to get it all, even on your period? Now you can. 9 out of 10 women who tried our product love it and will buy it. New, always 2-in-1, feathery soft top sheet, and super absorbing channels. We are generation of change, always.
Buy fresh mboga, vegetables, foodstuffs, meat products, bakery products, detergents, all clothing and footwear, books, board games, gym accessories, households and cookery online. Kindly visit tuskys.dpo.store to place an order and get delivered to your doorstep.
Disinfect and protect your home with JIG. JIG kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels, and dishcloths with JIG bleach. Just JIG it.
Birthday party.
Birthday party. Birthday party.
Birthday party.
Are we not invited? We have gifts. Malaria.
Mommy, best.
Rat.
Oh, die.
Party.
Compared to laundry spray, Mortein Doom Power Guard kills disease-causing pests instantly. Mortein Doom Power Guard.
Welcome to the conferencing service.
Emma, carry on, Ken.
First quarter sales, they're up 90%.
Very good, very good.
We are looking at a 55 billion shilling profit by the end of the financial year.
Now we are talking. Here we talk billions. Very good. I gotta go. Wacha niendelee na kazi.
A person has left the conference.
Niko nyumbani. Downloads are very fast. Streaming, eco. And I'm just working from here. Stay connected and work from the convenience of wherever you are. Fiber to the home.
Working from home? No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
Nyaje wa Kenya. Hii ni public service announcement kuhusu coronavirus.
The Ministry of Health advises all returnees from abroad to self-quarantine for at least 14 days, whether they feel well or unwell.
Wash your hands regularly following the 8 steps of hand washing. Wet hands with warm water. Apply a small amount of soap. Rub palms together. Rub fingers and thumbs and the beads in between. Rub nails on palms. Rub the back of each hand. Rinse with clean running water and dry thoroughly with a clean dry towel.
Furthermore, it is advisable to cover your mouth and nose adequately when sneezing or coughing and immediately dispose of the tissue in a dustbin. Please do not use handkerchiefs if you can avoid it. If disposable tissue is unavailable, cough into your elbow. Try and avoid close contact with anyone showing signs of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing.
Before you share any coronavirus information on social media, please verify it with Ministry of Health to avoid panic and alarm among your fellow Kenyans.
Second chances are not given to make things right, but are given to prove that we could be better even after we fall.
It's like I was a burden. At the same time, my father had long rejected me. So is it too much for me? No, I have already made peace with it. Even if my father right now saw it, I'll be like, that's the truth. Even my mom, I tell her, why did you keep pushing me towards this man?
Our guest today is not only stunning, she wears so many hats. I can't wait for you to meet her and hear her powerful story.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition. If you are unwell, please go to hospital. This is the reiterated call of the government amid rising cases of people refusing to go to hospital in fear of either getting exposed to COVID-19 or just in fear of the stigma around the disease. This is a concern that is coupled with the cases of people who are COVID-19 positive dying at home. Kevin Mutai reports.
A good number of those who succumbed to COVID-19 in Mombasa could have most likely been avoided if the patient sought medical attention.
Our only concern is those people who are dying at home. Those people who are not going to the hospital. You are sick and you are afraid to go to the hospital. We have been told by our doctors very clearly that the disease affects people a lot more if somebody is at home, sick, and those taking care of the individual will fall sick. I think it is very, very important to appreciate that you do not want to become a problem for your family, and therefore take it seriously.
The invisible enemy is spreading further and fueled by fear of stigma associated with it. The ministry, however, reveals that health officials are recording a declining number of infections within the region.
In Mombasa, the cases there, normally from the old town, we have got cases from Jomvu, Mvita again, but we are happy that Mombasa is taking it seriously and containing.
Another fatal trend has been identified: the ballooning number of COVID-19 cases in the region, especially along the border points, has been connected to communities who have been encouraging cross-border movements. The authorities say that some of the residents have aided those using shortcuts to move between Kenya and Tanzania. Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata, who visited Shimoni, Wasini, Vanga and Lunga border points, ordered the local administration to immediately apprehend those breaking COVID-19 protocols.
Wale wageni ambao umeshika hapa, walioingia kupitia kwa zile njia tunasema panya routes, ni watu 66 na mmewashika, wakatunzwa katika quarantine, wakaachiliwa wakarudi kwao.
The decision by the government to extend cessation of movement in and out of Old Town and Eastleigh in Nairobi has in the meantime angered a section of leaders.
Huwezi ka polisi upande na upande ile na upande ile, watu hawezi ingia, watu hawezi toka, watu hawana chakula, maduka mnaweka, kuna mama wajawazito kule ndani, mikakati gani mmeweka? Kuna wazee wagonjwa umri wao ndio umefika, ndipo mnawasaidia vipi? Kuna watu wanaugua sukari, watasaidika vipi? Then you lock people in one area, you keep on adding the days of curfew, but you don't have the solution. Wewe unakaa starehe, watu wanakufa huku.
Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
People, you have a voice.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations is seeking to arrest Ministry of Health officers who have been implicated in a 37.5 million Kenya shilling scandal. The DCI applied to court to be allowed to detain Mercy Wahinya, alias Linda Masaka, and her accomplices, who are all alleged to have obtained personal protective equipment worth 37.5 million shillings from a businessman through a fake Ministry of Health tender. The court declined to detain the accused but ordered her release on a cash bail of 200,000 shillings or a 300,000 shillings bond, plus a surety of the same amount. The court further ordered her to report to the investigating officer each time she's required to do so, failure to which the bond terms will be cancelled. The Campbell County COVID-19 Advisory Council has launched a 2 billion shilling initiative dubbed Adopt a Village and Feed a Family. The program aims to focus on equipping health facilities and supporting frontline health workers in a bid to help in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the chairman, Eddie Njoroge, corporates and industries in Kiambu have managed to contribute over 100 million shillings. He also urged Kiambu residents to adopt the initiative and support the program, as there are over 100,000 families that are needy.
But Kenyan women and Kiambu hands, because it was past just boiled water, and hoped that the...
I wish to thank all those who have donated in big sums or in small sums. The most notable of these donations was 10,000 shillings that we received from a 90-year-old grandma, and another 10,000 shillings we received from two 15-year-old kids from their own personal savings. This clearly demonstrates, I want to assure you, that the council that I chair will account for every penny, every kilo, and every liter of donation that we receive.
We have witnessed liquidity crisis, delays in payments, job losses, disrupted supply chain, and diminished working capital, among other in the sector challenges. The Chamber is taking immediate, significant, and decisive action to support Kenyans and businesses facing hardships. On post-COVID-19 support, we have partnered with Equity Bank of Kenya shillings 200 billion investment recovery program to support the SMEs businesses in resuming businesses as soon as possible.
A radio journalist based in Rongo was last night attacked by unknown armed people. Linus Ombima, an employee of Radio Rameny FM based in Rongo town, was attacked while heading to the studio for the 9 p.m. news. Ombima sustained 3 deep cuts to the head. Neighbors who came to his rescue went ahead to inform the police. The journalist was taken to Homa Bay Referral Hospital, where he's currently receiving treatment. According to Rongo OCPD David Okring, investigations by the DCI have commenced.
We assume it was planned, so we are only asking the government or the security officers to help us trace and get what was the motive behind this.
We wish him a quick recovery and swift justice. On the other side of this break, we bring you news on how the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted jobs in the manufacturing sector.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Can you tell Kinyanju to come to my office immediately? Good morning. Good morning. Mimi sipendi unapanguza floor. Hiyo dust uache hapa kwa meza. Clean up. Kinyanju, this is a problem, eh? Next time uende ununue selector yako, utengeneze sandwich zako, uachane na sandwich za boss.
Selector. The difference is in the taste.
Hii uende weke kwa ile githeri yako, eh?
I'm here today to give you a few tips about how we're able to flatten the curve and curb the spread of this virus. Ensure you wash your hands as often as possible with soap and running water. Stay at home to protect yourself, your family, and your loved ones. If you have to leave the house, ensure you wear a mask. And if you live with small kids, ensure they wear the mask too. While outside there, ensure you keep your social distance, which is 1.5 meters as recommended. In these difficult times, we are calling on brands and businesses to do good and give back. As a business, avail your resources and time to the less fortunate and help curb the spread of the virus.
This new pack
White is available in all leading supermarkets and outlets. It's still the same flour. Pembe yangu ni poa.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Time now to take a look at what's happening in the world of business. The two banking giants in the country, that is Equity Bank and the Kenya Commercial Bank, have laid out their plans to help customers struggling to repay their loans owing to the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy. Here is Alex Mwangi with more details.
Equity Bank will provide loan rescheduling and refinancing options for customers who demonstrate the effects of COVID-19 on their businesses, with the possibility of extending loan repayment by 3 years. The bank is seeking to partner with manufacturers in the health sector to have them produce larger volumes of personal protective equipment. Equity's business continuity plan to help customers during the eye of the pandemic storm will see terms on loans of up to 92 billion shillings adjusted by up to 3 years. On its part, Kenya Commercial Bank will restructure facilities worth at least 115.1 billion shillings to cushion customers against the effects of the pandemic. Since mid-March, KCB has approved the restructuring of 91.3 billion shillings worth of corporate loans, 20.4 billion shillings worth of mortgage loans, and 3.4 billion shillings for retail customers. The restructuring of the loans by the banks comes at a time when policymakers are still busy attempting to find out the extent of the impact of the coronavirus on the economy. As much as policies are being put in place to cope with what has befallen the global economy, there is also the realization that economies are yet to feel the full impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
Still on matters banking, and KCB has agreed in principle to part with 6.4 billion shillings to acquire 3.2 billion shillings worth of assets from Imperial Bank, and at the same time assume liabilities valued at another 3.2 billion shillings from the same bank. The acquisition follows approvals for the deal from the Central Bank of Kenya on the 4th of May 2020 and the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Planning on the 14th of May. The acquisition and the assumption of liabilities will take effect on the 2nd of June 2020. On that same day onwards, Imperial Bank depositors will be paid a total of 3.2 billion shillings over the next 4 years. This means that the depositors will, after that period is over, have received 37.5% of the deposits that the bank has had as at 13th of October 2015 when it was put under receivership. More than 3/4 of jobs in the manufacturing sector are on the line, with a focus now on cutting production costs to cope with low sales. According to a report by the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and audit firm KPMG, 78% of manufacturers surveyed said that they were focusing on reducing costs due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 40% of those surveyed said that they have sacked their casual laborers and sent more on unpaid leave. 27% have reduced permanent staff, while another 69% are struggling to pay their staff, with small and medium enterprises hardest hit. Sales during the 3-month period since the first case of the virus was reported in the country have also drastically dropped, with 93% reporting a fall in turnover. The Capital Markets Authority now warns that if the appeal filed by the former Kestrel Capital Chief Executive Officer Andre De Simon is allowed to proceed, it risks undermining the authority's capacity to provide oversight on the capital markets. According to the authority, Andre De Simon should have filed an appeal by July the 20th, 2019, 15 days after the CMA took action against him for his involvement in insider trading regarding the takeover of Campbell. Here's Julian's Amboko with the details.
10 months after the Capital Markets Authority CMA issued its decision on enforcement action taken against persons involved in the insider trading around the takeover of Campbell, the push and pull in the corridors of justice will not just end yet. On February 21st, 2020, former Kestrel Capital Chief Executive Officer Andre De Simon filed an appeal before the Capital Markets Tribunal challenging the retributive action taken against him by the Capital Markets Authority for his involvement in insider trading around the 36 billion shillings takeover of the oil marketer. In 2019, Andre De Simon was slapped with a 2.5 million shillings fine and a year-long disqualification from holding any capacity in institutions approved by the Capital Markets Authority for breach of market conduct by disclosing price-sensitive information to 2 stockbrokers. In his filing before the tribunal, De Simon argues that CMA failed to establish that he realized any profit owing to the disclosure of the price-sensitive information. In its response tabled before the Capital Markets Tribunal by the authority's acting director in charge of market operations, the market regulator terms De Simon's application as, and I quote, inexcusably delayed, end of quote, given that by law he was required to file the same within 15 days after the authority's decision. The authority further says that De Simon's settlement of the 2.5 million shillings penalty is indication that he not only accepted liability regarding the case of insider trading, but more importantly, was aware of the progression of the case and the required timelines. The quest for appeal by Andre De Simon could present yet another blow for the market regulator, given that already the High Court granted Ali Kansa to stay orders on the enforcement action taken against him by the Capital Markets Authority. Julian's Amboko, NTV.
It is the first quarter earnings season for banks, and Family Bank managed to almost double its earnings per share based on the earnings it has posted for the first 3 months of the year. The bank made a net profit of 298 million shillings, up from 161 million shillings made at a similar period last year. Family Bank saw its assets appreciate by 17.5% to 82.5 billion shillings from 70.2 billion shillings the previous year. Prudent financial oversight by management led to a tight lid being kept on expenses, which went up marginally to 1.7 billion shillings from 1.6 billion shillings. The bank witnessed a 32.6% surge in customer deposits, while customer loans and advances increased by 18.5%. Business owners in Isili are staring at huge losses following restriction of movement into and out of the area. With the Eid celebrations, a lot of the traders had stocked up and were anticipating huge sales, but all that now remains a dream due to the lockdown, which was extended to June the 6th, 2020.
On Wednesday, the government extended the partial lockdown in Isili, the latest draft of stringent measures meant to curb the spread of the coronavirus. The cessation of movement in Isili as well as in Mombasa's Old Town will be in effect until June 6th. A spot check by NTV revealed that some malls had reopened, with business going on as usual in disregard of social distancing. Members of the public trooped in, visiting shop after shop. Hawkers in their dozens by the roadsides displaced their merchandise on the pavement. Mohammed Ali, who owns a shop, says he's counting losses due to lack of business brought about by the lockdown.
We are not selling. Yeah. Maybe once even someone come to us and he wanted something, even if they are just window shopping, we just tell them to please buy now. We are begging, customers to buy.
The pandemic has hit hard the renowned trading hub as commerce and transportation have been disrupted, upending the livelihood of thousands of dozens of families.
Kama kuna shida ya corona tungekuwa naye Kikomba, kuna Dandora, kuna Kayole, kuna mahali mingi watu wako wengi sana kushinda hata Isili. Isili watu wako wadogo sana.
11 roadblocks have been mounted at major entry points to the densely populated estate. The residents say their livelihoods have been affected with no means of getting daily income owing to the cessation of movement in the area.
Leo tumepata kama maneno iko tight hapa Isili, hakuna pali ya kupita. Na kila siku saa nyingine tuko na makadi ya kazi, hata leo wamekataa hata kuchukua. Sasa sijui nini mbaya.
Mimi si mkaaji wa hapa. Mimi ni chakula mimere. Na hataki kusikia hivyo. Ni chakula nilete ni drop nilu. Amekataa.
Business owners had stocked up in preparation for Eid celebrations, but the lockdown is expected to further dent the operations of small and medium-sized enterprises already suffering from the broken supply chain owing to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hii Eid haitakuwa kama ili Eid tuliyopita, hatutasherehekea vile tunaitaka.
Tulikuwa natarajia tutauza vizuri this time because of the Eid season, but we can see the biashara, it has gone even less than below the average.
We are the highly tax-biased society in the country. You put checkpoints all over Eastleigh and you say nobody come in and out. The business has completely collapsed. Ile biashara tuko nayo sahi ni sisi kati yetu na kati yetu haitakuwa.
For now, businesses will continue facing uncertainty and dwindling returns, even as calls to relax the stringent measures continue to grow. Rozongoi, NTV.
As we close business, just a pointer on another loan. The Africa Development Bank has approved a 22 billion shillings loan to support the government's efforts to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic and mitigate the related economic, health and social impacts. The loan is slated to extend additional resources to Kenya as the country takes steps to contain the spread of the pandemic and deal with its unprecedented impact. AFDB says that this is a response to a request by the government of Kenya as part of its COVID-19 emergency response intervention to help contain the scourge. And with that, we take a break, but we'll be back with Bullseye on the other side.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
With DSTV Now, you open up a world of possibility where your entertainment is ready for you anytime and anywhere. To get connected, ask your parents to go to the App Store, hit download and log in.
Incredible! Incredible!
And while they're there, with DSTV's parental control feature, setting you up for the most fun and safest viewing around is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Amazing entertainment and learning, anywhere with DSTV.
At Kenya Breweries Limited, we work with over 500 barley farmers in Kenya to locally source 80% of raw materials and grow local businesses to produce quality products. In the last financial year, we paid over 1 billion shillings to barley farmers. Our pride lies in uplifting the lives of farmers as we grow value together.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Hey, as a professor, out of analytical observation, I have realized that there are 3 types of coughing. Kukohoa. Kuna wale wa huo ni mtu ako na pesa. Account is loaded. Kuna hawa wa
To get this Skiza tune, dial star 811 star 848 hash for Professor.
Eid came early for Mama Fatima Children's Home in Nairobi's Eastleigh estate after Nation Media Group visited the home bearing gifts and goodies. The visit expressed the firm's solidarity with the less fortunate in society in line with its social responsibility value. Nation Media Group staff who delivered food and non-food items mingled with the children, giving them hope in life. The gesture from NMG comes as Muslims are preparing to celebrate Eid al-Fitr to mark the end of Ramadan. The home's administration appreciated the gesture and urged other well-wishers to emulate that move in an effort to change society. Imagine a house where both joy and anguish are dished out in equal measure. That, at the moment, has got to be the Jubilee house, where joint jubilation is no longer possible thanks to 2 things: ambition and self-preservation. The dogs are out, and woe unto you if you happen to be a disciple of a man called William. It's all about who will be the next big man, and as Emmanuel Juma reports on Bullseye, it's some for some to crawl out as others recoil for survival's sake.
Here is Bill's army rebuilding. Now,
If you needed any confirmation the tables have turned, there you have it.
Mko tayari?
Remember who used to say that?
Tayari!
Yes, that's opposition talk.
Mko tayari sasa? Tuko tayari wakati mko tayari.
Things have indeed changed, and as it turns out, time is running out for Didmus Baraza and others.
It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of when, not whether.
These dogs.
Those dogs, Didmus, are not going anywhere anytime soon. Just how far is Kega prepared to go?
Going also to even committees.
If you think you will intimidate me with removing me as a chair of a committee, or even recalling me as a member of parliament to change a stand I believe in, please try another one.
I can assure you is coming to the National Assembly. It's a matter of time.
The man can't simply wait to inflict some pain. As far as Ruto men are concerned, Kega is not as good as his name may suggest.
In 2018, they called me and told me they will kill me if I do not stop following what they call following William Ruto.
We don't know whether they are affiliated to the deputy president or if by coincidence they are affiliated, that's a different story.
And he said that with a straight face.
They are not being pursued basically because they are aligned to the deputy president. No.
Really, the little one?
You have a big heart. There is nobody is being thrown out, so to speak.
They too could be considered as Ruto's men. Right, Kalware?
William Ruto has buckling and overwhelmingly supported.
What's the bullfighter saying?
As buckling and overwhelming support.
I don't know. It is mind-boggling. And by the way, why are some of these Jubilee guys in the frying pan?
They publicly start criticizing His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta despite being a party leader.
Now you know why our politics is mind-boggling. Try again, Kalware.
Buckling.
And even administrators are learning from politicians. These were demolitions carried out during the week in Ruai, Nairobi. We sought an explanation from the regional commissioner, whose name, Njega, means good.
Those pictures are not pictures of this week, because there's nothing happening. There are no demolitions. We have said there are no evictions, demolitions during this period until we come out of this problem of the pandemic. So I think the media, we need also to be objective, to check with us, instead of airing stories which are not factual.
Not very good, Bwana Good. Then Bwana George Natembea went for a walk along the Kenya-Tanzania border.
Wala ambao wanaanza kujiingiza ujanja kwa watoto wasichana, mimi najua pande hii wanaamua mnao watoto.
Wow, George. Who are those? Who are those?
Wakale na Wakuria. Kiona kifaranga rika hii, wewe mate na tetemeka na magika hivi, mtoto kidogo hivi.
Now, what do you want them to do?
Mimi wanaambia wanaume, ongea na mwanamke ambaye anaelewa namwambia nini. Pana tu nyanyasa tu, mtu aelewe kitu unanyanyasa tu. Mtu amekuheshimu, amekupatia heshima ya juu, unamwambia vitu ya upuzi.
And someone must be held to account.
Chonjo wapi machifu? Msichana akipata mimba saa hii chifu kwa area yako, mimi nitajua hiyo mimba ni yako. Mpaka ile siku mtoto atazaa tuende tufanye DNA. Lakini kabla hajazaa, wewe ndio utaenda kununua, utapeleka kliniki, wewe ndio utapeleka mpaka azae. Wewe. Maana ulikuwa wapi akipata mimba? Ni serikali. Kwa hivyo kamata hii watu kabla hawajafanya makosa.
George.
Tutapiga nyinyi. Hata kama iko corona tukipata umekimbia na mtoto, tutakukimbiza. Mlikuwa mnatorokea Tanzania imefungwa. Sio mtakimbilia wapi?
And that is the Natembea law. Walk with it or face the consequences.
We are aware.
In the meantime, Shooter-in-Chief Babu Owino is attempting a transformation.
Tutafute Leila.
Is he searching for a girl named Leila Tibim, perhaps?
To ensure that tutafute tuhakikishe tutafute Leila Turkad.
Buckling and overwhelming support.
Emmanuel Juma, Bullseye, NTV.
And to give you a minute to catch your breath after Bullseye, we take a break, but we'll be back with the sports.
behave normally, this disease will treat us abnormally.
Credit to you if you stay at home. If you must shop online, use your NCBA credit card. Stay home. Stay safe. Shop online and pay with your Visa card securely for groceries and other essentials, e-learning subscriptions, online entertainment subscriptions, as well as all other bills online. With Visa, you can make payments online using your Visa card in 3 easy steps. Simply go to the checkout page, select Visa card, enter your card information, and your purchase is securely completed. Safe is smart. Visa, everywhere you want to be. Terms and conditions apply.
Second chances are not given to make things right, but are given to prove that we could be better even after we fall.
It's like I was abandoned. At the same time, my father had long rejected me. So is it too much for me? No, I have already made peace with it. Even if my father right now saw it, I'll be like, that's the truth. Even my mom, I tell her, why did you keep pushing me towards this man?
Our guest today is not only stunning, she wears so many hats. I can't wait for you to meet her and hear her powerful story.
Time now for sports news. An English-born footballer with Kenyan roots, David Sisay, counts Borussia Dortmund ace Jadon Sancho as a bosom friend and Harambee Stars captain Victor Wanyama as an inspiration. These are some of the insights of Ida Weringa's chat with the 21-year-old who now plays in England's 4th tier and who harbors dreams of one day donning Kenyan colours.
Spotlight shone on David Sisay in 2019 when he received and turned down a surprise call-up to the national football team. The call was by then Harambee Stars coach Frenchman Sébastien Meunier ahead of the squad's final 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualification match against Ghana.
I was in the process of sorting out with the Kenyan embassy over here. It's quite a long, it's not the easiest process, it was quite a long process.
The 21-year-old was born in England to a Kenyan mother and Sierra Leonean father, meaning he is eligible to represent either England, Sierra Leone and Kenya, but can only choose one. And it appears coach Francis Kimanzi now has additional options on the left-back position, currently marshalled by Sweden-based defender Eric Marcelo Ouma.
Yeah, I'm ready. We can get going with, playing for Harambee Stars.
Sisay, who occasionally visits Kenya, counts striker Michael Olunga and midfielder Victor Wanyama as his Kenyan inspiration.
I was watching him play in the Champions League against Barcelona.
Sisay had a brief stay with Chelsea before signing to the Watford Academy, aged 9. The defender spent 10 years with the Hornets, where he became close friends with Jadon Sancho, who now plays for Borussia Dortmund and is a Manchester United transfer target.
We went to the same school. Sitting in my room, used to dream about, playing at the highest level,
The Brent-born player joined League Two side Crawley Town on a 2-year deal in 2018. He enjoyed a stellar first season, winning the Young Player of the Year award in England's 4th tier league and getting to the Carabao Cup last 16 round. The 2019-2020 season, Sesay's last under his current contract, has not seen the same success, ending prematurely due to the COVID-19 pandemic, with Crawley 12th out of 24 on the log. Sesay has been keeping fit and motivated through individual workouts during England's lockdown, even as he ponders on his next move for both club and country.
2 years after becoming a social media sensation when a video of their game in Canada went viral, the national ice hockey team players are ready to roar even farther. The next step for the Ice Lions, who have Olympic dreams, is seeking membership in the International Ice Hockey Federation. Ice Lions officials are in the process of forming the Kenya Federation of Ice Sports, a body that would be recognized by the Kenyan government to develop hockey, speed skating and figure skating. The federation would have the authority to apply for IIHF affiliate status for Kenya. If approved, Kenya would join Algeria, Morocco and South Africa as the only IIHF members on the continent. Egypt and Tunisia are also trying to join the 81-nation federation.
In the rink, nothing matters.
It's a dream to be in Canada.
I can't hold back my tears.
All the best to them. Kenyan footballers may get a financial boost from the football world governing body FIFA to cushion them from the economic repercussions of the ongoing global economic pandemic. This is according to FKF President Nick Mwendwa, who was speaking on NTV's weekly Kiswahili sports show Mikiki ya Sporti.
FIFA walituitisha data, wakauliza muna ligi ngapi, wachezaji wangapi, makocha wangapi, referees wangapi, walikuwa wanapata nini, walifanya nini. Naelezwa katika FIFA kwamba kuna mkutano mkuu mwezi wa 6, tarehe 26, watakalia hayo mambo chini kujiuliza ni kipi wanachoweza kufanya katika football kwa nchi tofauti. Alright? Hivi sasa hatujui tutapata nini wala ni ngapi. Lakini kwamba FIFA kupitia Gianni Infantino wameweka mikakati kwamba wanataka kufanya kitu kuhusu haya mambo, na tukipata tutakueleza.
Hertha Berlin are looking to build on the winning return to Bundesliga action last weekend following the coronavirus suspension and avenge